The Red Sox go for a series win on Thursday afternoon at Fenway Park, and they wrap up a nice little homestand here. If they can beat the Mariners, they'll beat the Mariners again in a series, which they would go 9-0-1 over their last 10 against Seattle. So a lot to get into. It's another edition of Red Sox Now here on YouTube, presented by FanArch, and I'm your host, Mike Antonellis. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. One more game to go for the Red Sox, but we ask you to subscribe, like, comment. You can share the video when you see me on X and Blue Sky and all of those other social media platforms. You can share that. Follow me at the Radio Mike everywhere. We'll start with X. You can find me on Facebook if you just put in my name. Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Blue Sky. There's a bunch more on here too. Mike Antonellis Media for my personal YouTube page, and we appreciate everyone watching. So the Mariners get even on Tuesday night with an 8-5 win. And I talked about this at the beginning of the week. This is a very good club. I think Seattle's got a good club. They've got really good pitching, we know. And Hancock, who's a former 6th overall pick, it's very interesting. What did he do last night? He used his fastball. Red Sox are one of the worst hitting teams against four-seam fastballs. That should not happen, folks. Why is that happening? Well, I think part of it is the fastball's kind of turning into a changeup, the four-seamer. Now, the cutter and the two-seamer and the splitter are all in the fastball family, but the traditional four-seam fastball, which I still think plays despite all the hoopla that it doesn't, the Red Sox are proof. That's a pretty good lineup, and they have struggled against that. And Hancock, you could see the plan. If you watch these games like I do, and you even watch them more closely, and you have the pitch-by-pitch up, and Dave and Lou were talking about it. Lou mentioned it a bunch of times, the Red Sox performance against four-seam fastballs, but just watching it. And Hancock threw it a lot. It's interesting how baseball takes its twists and turns with philosophies and ideas. Now, I agree with, in the big leagues, you can't just throw a juicy 2-0 fastball down the middle or 3-1 fastball, but I don't think everything is black and white. If you throw 98, you can throw a variation of a four-seam fastball. We're not telling Garrett Crochet and Chapman and Whitlock and Slayton not to use their fastball. You know, certain guys, I think, avoid it. Hancock hit 97, 98. He was brilliant. Boy, Sean Newcomb, I know if you did not see the game, the 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs could have easily been a 2+ inning performance. He escaped the bases loaded, nobody out jam early. He's got interesting stuff. At times it can be all over the place with command, but again, he's your 5th starter. For a 5th starter, and I remember Ben Cherington talking about this years ago, he said if you look at the ERAs in Major League Baseball combined for the 4th and 5th starters, it's really high. So while a 4.43 ERA for Newcomb is not great, and he's 0-3, for your 5th guy, you'd probably take that. But we'll see what happens. We go nuts now with Giolito's making one more start with Worcester Friday, and then he'd be ready for the next series. So again, we do this whole, well, what will happen? Let's just wait, because I don't like to do this. You know, all signs point to Newcomb would be out. Then where would the roster move be? Bernardino has options. I would think you'd want to keep Newcomb. I think you'd be crazy right now. You traded Priester. You've had a lot of injuries. I would not DFA that guy. He's still got pretty good stuff. Last night it kind of was all over the place. The first few starts for him have been kind of up and down, but I still think it'd be crazy to DFA an arm like that. He would easily get picked up. So it'll be interesting to see, but let's wait. Now Winkowski could be an option too to go back down as well. I mean, he threw 80 pitches in relief last night. That's crazy, but he did save the bullpen. I know he gave up 2 runs, but he put you in really good shape for a Thursday afternoon game, which you hope with Garrett Crochet. It's great, isn't it? Reminds me back of the Roger Clemens days when you needed that win after a loss, and he's done really good. Another 3-run homer. In the baseball world, and Eck says this, baseball people have their own lingo, and I've been exposed to it for 30 years of working in the minor leagues. The correct term is a 3-run Johnson. That's or a piece. You hear Lou Merlone said that, a 3-run piece. Tristan Casas last night, 1 hit, a walk. Approach looked better. He had another 3-run homer back-to-back games with a 3-run shot. His came with 2 outs in the 8th. They got the Red Sox back in the game. There's been a lot of talk about his approach. And Lou Merlone, Lou is so good, by the way. I've really enjoyed the broadcast with Dave and Lou talking baseball. And I'll get to something in a minute that I've not heard talked about that Lou brought up 3 or 4 times last night. I love when announcers repeat things. All right, I'm in this business where I know sometimes my colleagues said, I already said that like in the first. Not everyone's watching every pitch like me. And Lou strategically says the same things a lot because he knows that people are tuning in on different times. He talked about Casas' approach kind of being all over the place. And what I liked, what he was talking about last night was when you get into deep counts of 3-2, sometimes they're looked upon as positive. He worked a 3-2 count. But he said that at bat should have been over because at 2-0, you got a fastball 92 belt high that you fouled back that maybe you should have drove that ball. So while you got to 3-2 can be positive, how did you arrive to that 3-2 count? And he said that's what the Red Sox are doing more of with their hitting instructors. Listen, it's great we get the 3-2, but those 2 strikes, the foul and the swing and miss, those are pitches in that situation we need to drive. So I like that because we're giving so much kudos for working full counts, but maybe that at bat should have been over. And I really like hearing that, and I think that's really good stuff. And Lou's fantastic. He really is. All right, Crochet in the bump for the series win. I'm not calling it because I don't like to do that, predictions. But I'll tell you what. This is the last leg of a long road trip from Seattle. Day game after a night game. They're flying home after. This could smell no-hitter all over it. With the stuff of Crochet. These are how no-hitters happen. Day baseball, your short turnaround, this team's going home, and you got to face this guy at 1:30. Could we have that today? How fantastic would it be? And how fantastic is it? I still think it's undersold to have an arm like this. I know we're still overzealous and we still go nuts over offense. We do it with the Celtics, who are up 2-0. They lost Tatum, but they're still so good defensively that they can still able to almost win a game by 10 points in the playoffs without their best player. But the pitching and the defense of this club is so different to me. And you've got a legit horse at the top. And it just makes me so excited. Sox have good problems thanks to depth. I'm getting massive questions about Anthony and Meyer. They are unbelievable. I tweeted this yesterday. They had a doubleheader that they swept yesterday against Syracuse. The 2 of them went off again. Everyone's asking me, well, when are they going to get called up? There's no room for them right now. That's the answer. And you know what? I don't know. I don't know what you can do. We have to stop saying, well, we'll make Ceddanne Rafaela a super utility guy. That makes no sense if you think about it. If you made Ceddanne Rafaela a super utility guy, then that means you want to put him in late for defense. So then what are you going to do? You're going to take Campbell out of the game late. You're going to take Anthony, say if he was up there. You don't want to take those guys out late in the game because you want them hitting. This is an amazing problem that they have. And why do they have this problem? Because for once, and I've said this for years, I don't have any cards in front of me, do I? I do. Unbelievable. You would think I didn't plan this. This is what you want to have as an organization. You want to hold the cards. What does that mean? You dictate trades. You dictate signings. The Red Sox for years, think about it. Why did they sign Cole Crawford? They were desperate, weren't they? The Angels came in at the last second, and then they swooped in, and they got desperate. Why? As much as you hated the Pablo Sandoval deal, why did that happen? You had nobody to play. You literally had no one to play third base. Middlebrooks and Giacchini were your options. Middlebrooks got hurt. He kind of fell off. Giacchini couldn't do it. So you had zero bodies to play that position, and you got desperate. The Red Sox in years past have been desperate, where they've had holes, and when you try to make trades, it's tough. You look at now. You don't think teams would be chomping at the bit? Those two guys, think about this. Anthony, Meyer, Grissom, David Hamilton. For some teams, they're saying those four guys could be in our lineup every day. Seriously. And you also have this guy Garcia in Portland, the password, and Mikey Romero, infielder, outfielder, those two. Now you have all these other options. You dictate. I'm not saying you trade Anthony or Meyer, but now you hold the cards to those two guys because you can tell other teams that are inquiring, we're fine. We're not calling them up. And we're not going to give them to you because we like those guys. You now can dictate things. And why? Because you created a foundation between Chaim Bloom and Craig Breslow. They created a really solid foundation. This is why you take the best players in the drafts. This is why you take as many shortstops and center fielders because those are the best positions. And this is why you just stockpile and stockpile and stockpile. It's what the Dodgers have done. Look at who the Dodgers have traded over the years. Alvarez, Corey Seager. They've traded O'Neal Cruz. Those are three huge names because now the way that their organization is built, through the farm system and through spending, they dictate more. So I'm excited on what's yet to come. I think the journey of this is fun. I'm not overthinking it. I have no idea what the right answers are. Enjoy it. Enjoy the guys in AAA while you can. Go to a Woo Sox game. But I'll tell you what, these two are going to be superstars. That is a superstar edition of Red Sox Now here on YouTube, presented by fan archer Mike Antonellis. We ask you, before you leave, subscribe, like, and comment. And go Red Sox as they look for the series win on Thursday afternoon. We'll talk to you on Friday.